have this big empty wall behind this couch in our living room. I was deciding what to do with it, whether I should do a large print or artwork. In this video, I'm going to give you some fresh ideas of how you can fill your large empty walls, just like this one behind me. Okay, so the first way that I think that you could fill up an empty wall is to add any sort of millware. This is a way that you could decorate your walls that will also add a lot of texture to your walls. So this can include things like shiplap, wood slats, square or rectangular molding on your walls. So this is a beautiful way that you can add some texture to your walls, some more detail to your space, and you can do this in a subtle way without it needing to stand out too much. You can decide to paint the millwork the same color as your walls, and it'll just add an extra layer of texture and detail to your walls without standing out too much. And I know it's really common to see molding on white walls, but you can really do any color. So a beautiful alternative to wood millwork is also adding faux brick to your walls. You can paint it over white to just add some texture. This will create more of an impact to your space. Okay, the next wall treatment that you could just add to your walls is wallpaper. Wallpaper is coming back in style now, and I think you'll see it more and more in homes. If it's done well, I think it can add so much character to your space. And you can be really creative with the wallpaper. You don't have to put the same wallpaper on your entire wall. You could do something like half of the wall molding and painted, and then the other top half of your wall like a fun wallpaper. Wallpaper can also be really playful to add to your kids' rooms. There's so many different prints out there. Dinosaurs, unicorns, honestly, whatever your kids are obsessed with, you could probably find wallpaper for it. You can also add like a touch of bold colors or bold patterns into your home by adding it into a powder room. Adding wallpaper to your walls doesn't have to be something that's super bold and loud and busy. Find wallpaper that's really subtle and just something a little bit more than just a solid color on your walls. Also, something else that you can add to your walls that's worth mentioning is lime wash paint. While lime wash has been around for so long, I think thousands of years, one thing I just want to add is that it is much more expensive than regular paint. So if you want to do it in a more affordable way, consider just doing one accent wall in your room lime wash paint, or a smaller room in your home. Lime wash also looks different in different lighting, so I would suggest, if you can, get a sample pot and test out the space that you want to paint before you commit to buying a large pot of lime wash. Okay, this next one is a really popular one, but I just wanted to add it in here, and that's gallery walls. These are obviously so popular, and I think you'll see these in a lot of homes on their big empty walls, but it's because they just look so classic, and it's such a nice way to add photos onto your wall. A very classic look can be a symmetrical grid of all square or rectangle frames, or you can also arrange them asymmetrically in kind of a random pattern, maybe different sizes, and it can still look really nice. A little tip to help make your gallery wall look more cohesive: if you're going to print your photos in color, I would suggest editing them in the same effect so that they all kind of have this similar photo effect, or you can print them in black and white and they would all kind of go together really nicely. Another type of gallery wall that you could do is a gallery wall of vintage mirrors with like vintage frames. That will also look really nice. Okay, this next idea I think is a really fun way to add something onto an empty wall, and that is tapestry. Tapestry can be such a beautiful way to fill up a wall, and it can really make your space feel really cozy. If you have a vintage rug or a really nice kind of woven blanket and you just can't find the floor space to put this on, I would suggest consider hanging it up on an empty wall that you have. To actually support it being hung on your wall, you can find online like a metal rug hanger and rug clips to actually keep it supported onto your walls. Okay, the next obvious thing that you can hang on your big wall is large format art. Personally, I love large art. I just think the size makes such an impact when you stand next to it, and it could honestly be the simplest piece of art, but I think just the sheer size of it makes such a dramatic impact to the decor in your home. And guys, this doesn't mean you have to go to like an art gallery and get an expensive piece of art, which, don't get me wrong, it's great to support local artists. If you just don't have the budget for it, you can create your own large format art. Or another thing that I just learned, the artist will supply prints to a lot of art galleries of their artwork, and instead of someone purchasing the original art piece, you can actually buy a print at a more affordable price. So many ways that you can DIY large artwork. It can look expensive, and honestly it can be something really simple, and once it gets framed and it's hung up on a wall, it just looks expensive. Okay, to tag on to this, I also love micro art. A super tiny piece of micro art can have such a similar effect that a large piece of artwork has on your wall. I'm actually going to show you a few pieces that I made. It could just be such a cute way if you have like a little spot in your home, even if you have like an empty wall and you just want to add a little something. So little tips to make micro art look good on your wall and not too awkward is: number one, always use it in a collection or in pairs. A piece of micro art on its own might look a little awkward, or if you only have one piece of micro art to hang, I would suggest hanging it in a larger your frame, having a thicker white matte border around it. Okay, the next thing that you can do to decorate your house and hang on your empty walls is large framed photograph prints. If you have cool photos from a trip that you recently went on, go to your local print shop and actually get it blown up and framed. And you can find kind of inexpensive frames at Walmart, Amazon, even Staples. A way that you can do this that could look really cool is doing like a mini series of print of similar photos together. So what I mean is, on a recent trip that I went to in Spain, I was absolutely in love with like the old wooden doors that they had in front of their homes. So I took a photo of every cool wooden door that I saw. I'm actually thinking of getting those photographs printed and framed and doing like a little door series somewhere in my home. And you can also do this with a series of photos of beaches that you've been to or different sunsets that you've seen. I think a series just looks really interesting kind of hung up on a wall if you do like 2 or 3 beside each other. My boyfriend and I actually got a gift from his dad when he went on a trip to Berlin, and he took a photo of graffiti that he just saw like around the city and blew it up and framed it for us. Okay, so this is the photo, graffiti in the city, and he just did this at Staples. I think he also got the frame at Staples, and it just looks really nice and something also that's special to you and sentimental to you. So something that's not art related or wall coverings is hanging objects on your walls. So if you're a collector or something, try to find a way that you can hang or display these objects on your walls. And this is such a great way to show off your personality in your home. Let's say if you play the guitar, you could hang your guitar beside vintage record art covers that you think are cool. It's just such a cool way to kind of show off your personality through your decor in your home. You can even put on your wall like a collection of beautiful hooks, a collection of hats that you have. I actually have these dried wildflowers that I brought back with me from a trip to Norway. I'm thinking of framing these dried flowers kind of in between 2 panes of glass and then hanging them on a wall somewhere. And it's just a cool way to kind of display these flowers and a nice memory for me. Honestly, just think of what interesting items that you have in your home and think of a way of how you can hang these items. In a kitchen, if you have really nice cutting boards or beautiful copper pots, you can hang these along in your kitchens and kind of fill up a space. If you're having a problem with hanging items and it just kind of looks random or all over the place, to create some cohesion, I would suggest using the same hook or the same thing that you're using to hang each item and hang it along on like a straight line. Also, if they're like of a similar item, it usually looks good together. Okay, the next thing that you could put on your empty walls is decorate it with lighting. I feel like we always think of lighting on our ceilings, but not so much on our walls. And for this one, you might have to hire an electrician or consider getting some extra work done just to hide the cords, but definitely a very beautiful way to decorate your walls. So you can find really beautiful sculptural sconces now that are less for providing light to your space, but more of like a decorative feature. You can find a lot of these on Etsy, made by small businesses. You can also use sconces to add like wall washes just as an effect on your wall, or if you have some kind of texture on your wall, or you can also add lighting above artwork or other frames that you have. Okay, so those are a few ideas of how you can decorate the empty walls in your home. If there's any other videos that you would like to see from me, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!